We're going to do a functional check flight, which is basically a post-maintenance procedural flight to go through and check the systems on an aircraft that's recently had a lot of maintenance done to it. So we go out and we go through the whole thing. We get ourselves strapped in and we take off and fly out. It's relatively normal, going through the procedures. We're at Mach 1, just under Mach 1.3, and we get an indication of a dual engine fire. Sure enough, there are flames coming out of the back end of the aircraft. We're descending down, trying to get ourselves below 10,000 feet relatively quickly. One, to be able to be in position to land, and two, because we know that we're probably going to lose our bleed system and our oxygen here in a little bit. Needless to say, the fire isn't going out, and we're deciding that we're not going to be able to land this airplane. So we set ourselves up for a controlled ejection. We get about 3/4 of the way through the procedure, but the flames are basically the fuel in the aircraft's almost all gone. The thing's burning, there's smoke in the cockpit. Basically tell the whistle, hey brother, it's time to go. Almost immediately, as soon as I pulled the handle, the deck cord blows and the canopy goes off. About a half a second after that, I hear the Wizzo seat fire, and I feel the heat when the rockets go up when the seat comes up the rails behind me. So once he goes up, about a half a second later, just enough to register in my brain that his seat is left, I'm shooting out of the aircraft as well. And before you know it, I'm under canopy looking up. Unfortunately, seeing a large hole in the parachute. Had a little larger than a basketball-sized tear in it from the way it came out of the head box. But I was under canopy. I was not falling at an unacceptable rate, or what I ascertained not to be an unacceptable rate. We see the aircraft crash into the Atlantic and start setting up to end up going swimming. We find ourselves floating in our little lifeboats there, a little tiny one-man survival raft. There was another Hornet out there, so we tried to talk to him. Unfortunately, both of our survival radios were broken. Over the horizon, we see that Coast Guard helo coming over, and it drives right by us. So the brief celebratory moment we have is kind of like the look of forlorn disappointment when it goes over well, not over the horizon, but past us. So a couple more pen flares later, and they come into us, and next thing you know, we're being hoisted out in baskets, my Wizzo first, and then me, and then we're headed back to Beaufort. Of course, there's an investigation after any kind of aviation mishap of this magnitude. It was a great relief and gratifying to be exonerated of any wrongdoing, and the investigation eventually comes out and says that you did no wrong, you did everything right, you followed the procedures. It's just that some days things don't want to fly.